Hi, we are here today at Connie's Catch, and I'm Connie, and we're here at Grasso's Magic Theater. We have got such a catch behind that door, 3 catches. We have Michael Grasso, who's an illusionist, we have the doo-wop group, the Accords, and we have a comedian, Terry Valentine. So are we ready to go in and see some magic, sing a little bit, and laugh a little bit? Come on, come join me. Hi, we are here with Michael Grasso, and we have just witnessed magnificence. Your act is spectacular.
Well, thank you very much.
I just want to ask you a couple questions, if I may. And the first one is, you said a couple of times in your act how you have done magic since you were 9. But could you elaborate a little bit and take us on how you got to this point, your progression?
Yeah, well, like you just said, I started doing magic at age 9.
Mm-hmm.
My father was building movie sets for a movie company up in Manhattan.
Okay.
And we were living with the producers for a few weeks, and they had a library, and in that library they had a little collection of magic books.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it all started. I pulled out a book and opened it up, and that's where it all began. And it kind of like started out as a hobby, and then soon afterwards I realized I could make money doing this, and I was doing birthday parties and school shows, little shows like that around town, and it just kind of grew into a career.
Okay, when did you, was there a pivotal moment where you said, I want to do this for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
I know you pulled the book out, but you were probably still on the fence. Let me see if I like this.
It was soon after. It was probably about a year afterwards.
10 years old.
Yeah, I've really, it really affected me in school because, you know, I knew what I wanted to do, and when you're young, you don't really feel like you need to do anything else. So I was kind of like, why do I need to learn this? You know, I know what I'm going to do. I'm already making $175 for a half-hour show now. You know.
But I got to say this, though, because I know that is not a conventional career.
No.
And to know that career is going to be your career at 10, you sat your parents down and said, hey, guess what? 11, 12 years old, I'm going to be an illusionist. Did that go over well, right from
Actually,
the start?
yeah, that went over great.
You're lucky.
Yeah, and if it wasn't for my parents and my father taking me all over the country to do shows, I probably wouldn't be doing it today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they were both, you know, they were all for it. They were gun ho. They saw some talent in me, and they just believed in me, and you know, lectured me nights when I went to go out and, you know, hang out with my friends. My dad would lecture me. I should be in my room practicing, and I would take my.
You were doing homework.
I was doing homework.
You were doing homework. Now that leads me to this point. Being an illusionist, is there a school? Now I don't know. Is there a school or extra training that you have to go through, besides just books? Okay, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, the answer is yes.
And where did you go?
I went to a magic camp. It's called Tannen's Magic Camp, and it's in New York.
That is wonderful.
Yeah, it's really awesome, and they it's a week long, and they teach you sleight of hand and stage illusions and everything you need to know about performance.
Did you make friends?
I made a lot of friends.
Did you keep them?
I still talk.
I mean, like, this
I
is
still talk to about 4 of them.
Come on up. What's your name? Monica. Give Monica.
This is a group that can't be as big as we think it is. I don't really think
No.
this is a big group.
It's small.
I think so. I mean,
It is.
people who choose this as a career, it's got to be a small. People who choose this as fun, let me show you sleight of hand, this and that. That's probably a big group. But when you narrow it down to somebody who's serious and this is what I want to do and this is my life, my career, that's got to be small.
Yeah, it's just a handful. It's really not that many people.
So you need all those people, and
Yep.
you know, you need all of them.
Yep, I have a lot of friends that when we get together, we share ideas, and
That's wonderful.
if I need some new material, they'll come and consult and, you know,
Right.
help me come up with some new stuff. And
Well, you know, I know your career, and it has a lot of highlights in it, but I want you to tell us a few highlights that has happened to you in the recent years in your career.
Well, the first one that sticks in my mind is my first trip out of the country, and that was to do a show, and it was in India, and it was in front of 60,000 people, and I was just doing the card stuff, but we had giant screens, and it was in a place called Irrigandi Stadium where Michael Jackson performs and Madonna.
60,000 people.
60,000 people. I was a part of a bigger show. Another magician friend of mine had a big illusion show, and I was like the special guest act.
You got thrown into the fire.
I did.
You went from what, a couple hundred, maybe a couple thousand audience?
Maybe a couple hundred. Not even, probably about 100.
60,000.
To 60,000.
You were like the Rolling Stones.
I felt like I was crying.
You were like
I couldn't
the
believe
Rolling
it.
Stones.
Yeah.
So that was one highlight.
That was a highlight, and then I did my first television appearance, which was on the Learning Channel, and it was for the history of magic, and they were highlighting.
Wow.
One segment of it was they were highlighting up and coming young magicians, and I happened to be one of them, and
wow.
so that sticks out in my mind. And then of course the America's Got Talent.
Save the
was,
best, one of the best for the last.
Yeah, that was so far up till now was a pretty awesome experience.
Wow, and so like, did you get Sharon Osbourne's number? She was very smitten.
No, but
She was very smitten
I know,
with
right?
you. I
know.
remember.
I
You
gave her
the rose,
yes.
and she was like,
Yeah.
and she stood that way. I think she's still that way.
She is.
Her face is still
Right.
that way. Yeah. Was that just surreal for you?
Yeah, that was really cool, you know, and you know
To
during
know she had that much faith in you and brought you back.
yeah during the show, you know, they're strictly business, but you know when the cameras are off, you know, we got to mingle with them, and they took like the top 10 out to dinner, and we became more
wow.
like people as opposed to contestants.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's wonderful. So, what has that parlayed for you? Where has that taken you? Because that was wonderful exposure.
Yeah, it was great. It was 20 million people a week. It was that shows. I don't know if it still is, but my year was the #1 show on television in the summertime. And since then, you know, I did the NBA All-Star halftime game. I did television work in Japan, 6 nights in Kuwait City for the Kuwait people.
I have to ask you a question. All these, they're very different. India, Japan, Kuwait. Is their sense of magic similar to the people in the States? Do they appreciate some of the things we just saw?
Certainly, yeah, they do,
Okay.
and that's the cool thing. Magic, there's no
Universal.
language barrier, no age range, so everyone kind of gets it.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So now, tell the audience, what do you got planned for the next couple of months? Maybe even a year out. Tell
Yeah,
them what you're doing.
a year out, we have a big tour coming up in China, and we're also working on selling a show, or should I say, bringing a show to a Broadway venue.
That's one in New York?
in New
Or-
York. Yep.
How exciting.
Yeah.
You know, that would be one of the first magic shows brought to Broadway.
Yeah. Well, Doug Henning had one in
I
the
know.
'70s, but
I
since
know.
then there hasn't been one.
I know. I remember Doug. What was it? David Copperfield did not do
Copperfield,
any of
nope,
that. He
nope.
just strictly did, I believe, Vegas.
Vegas and
What
tours.
about Vegas for you?
Vegas.
That's
Vegas.
a big hit.
It is a big hit.
That magicians.
I know.
It's a big hit.
Whatever comes first.
Yes.
Vegas or New York.
And so now, a little bit on a personal level, you have a new addition.
Yes.
Little baby.
Yes, I have little Vita.
Little Vita.
Yep.
Now you are a daddy.
Now I'm a dad.
How does that
That
affect
changes
your-
things. That's
I would think so.
yeah, just being away from home is going to be difficult now, as opposed to
Wow.
before I couldn't wait to get out.
Well, I think there comes a point where you could probably take the whole family with you.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.